Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. We continue with our recitation from Rag Asa with the composition of Kabir Ji. The recitation of the passage. Asa Kahu Dinhe Paat Patanbar, Kahu Patanbar. Some, Kahu, to some, are given Kahu Dinhe, silk clothes, Paat Patanbar, and yet others are given soft beds, Palag Nivara. At the same time, there are others who do not even have old rags to wear. Kahu Gari Godri Nahi, and they live in thatched huts. Kahu Khan Parara. So in this opening verse, Kabirji is drawing a contrast. The material inequities that we witness in the world around us. He's stating the obvious. We all see these disparities in society, in the world, in the way we are shaped, in the way we are formed, in the way we live. So true enough, but let's see where Kabirji is going with this. So in the Rahau, which is the reflection, lies his teaching. He's saying, don't let the mind indulge in jealousy, conflict, envy. Erach vad na kije re man, vad, disputation. Jealousy, na kije re man, O my mind, stay away. Do not allow the mind to indulge in jealousy and envy. Instead, develop your character. Cultivate qualities and virtue. Sukrit kari. And then receive true wealth. Kari lije re man. That's the lesson for us. We'll reflect on that. What does it mean? Let us first see what Kabirji, how he's expanding this line of thought. He makes an analogy. Just like the potter needs the same clay. It's the same clay that the potter needs into various forms. Kumhare ek jo mati gundi. Gundi is to knead. Mati, clay. Baho bid bani lai. So in many different types of expressions, bani is an expression. The same clay gives different expressions. So here is a hint for us that the same substance that creates the world assumes various forms. So the first hint that Kabirji is giving us is that all different forms may appear different, but they are actually being informed by the same substance, the same animating spirit, the same clay. That's one thing to keep in mind. So, some pots are adorned with pearls and gems, while others, as you produce them, have flaws in them. That's the way things are. He's drawing an analogy to that material inequity or disparity that we experience. He's trying to tell us that that is the state of the world. This is the way things are. So there has to be a degree of acceptance of the way things are. Sumuh dhan rakhan ko diya mugd kahe dhan mera jam ka dand mund meh lagay kin meh kare nibera. So here's another, he's nudging us to say, look, these different forms, these different shapes, even material wealth, it has come to us as a safekeep. We are custodians of this resource. We are not owners, and there's a difference. We are stewards. and must use it wisely. So if you have been gifted with perhaps a disparate amount of wealth, for instance, then you have to use it wisely, which means you do not need to indulge yourself too much. That's the key. Samodhan rakhan ko diya, custody. You're a custodian. But mugd kahe tan mera, the fool claims the wealth to be his or her own. That's the difference. And this is a difference in outlook. And that makes all the difference. Because Kabir says, look, where the stick of death hits us on the head, Jamaka danda munda meh lage, then what happens? All scores are settled in an instant. Everything is left behind. You don't carry it with you because you did not own it in the first place. And now Kabir switches to describing the state of a servant devotee, which is what we should be. We are stewards, we are devotees of this wealth. The highest state of devotion is to accept what comes to pass as hukam, whatever happens. That's the first quality to develop, contentment. And in so doing, you will find lasting comfort and happiness. Harjan uttam pagat sadave. Only that servant devotee achieves the highest state. Uttam, agya man sukha pai, agya. This is the way things are, and you accept them. Jyotis pave, satkar manne pana manavasai, accepting the will of the master and enshrining it in your mind. Kahe Kabir, sunore santo, meri meri chuthi. So Kabir gives us his final instruction. He says, listen to me. The claims that you make, meri, this is mine, this ownership mentality, because you recall, he's telling us that whatever has been gifted to you is for safekeep. Don't mistake it to be yours. To say and to claim that this is mine is a falsity, jhoot. Because he gives us another example. He says, look, chirgat far chitara le gayo, tari tagari chuti. When a cat breaks the bird cage and kills the bird, chitara le gayo, that is to say, when death takes away the soul, the bird soul from the body, all connections to your belongings are gone. So in the passage, Kabirji acknowledges the obvious inequities that abound in the world, and he's teaching us how to view and deal with these disparities, because inequities give rise to feelings of jealousy and envy towards those who we perceive to be more prosperous or gifted than us. But Kabirji is telling us that envy is a destructive and irrational emotion. And if you cultivate this emotion, it can lead to personal harm, social harm, because it can erode friendships, it can disrupt communities, and it causes unnecessary distress to the individual who experiences it. So the important thing to do is cultivating virtues like magnanimity and contentment. A wise person should focus on their own path and virtues rather than coveting. That's the key. Don't covet. And the way to deal with these negative emotions, among other ways, is to put them in perspective, to understand that material wealth is temporary, it's given as a resource, and we should be using it as a resource. So therefore, utilize what has been given to you. That is where fulfillment is. Be humble, live in gratitude and compassion. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.